We have an open Sicilian, and we have the classical Sicilian. 2 knights out straight away. Bishop g5, e6, queen d2. White now castles. Bishop d7, king b1, always a very useful move. Bishop e7, take, and f3. Very solid setup. Giri is just saying, well, I'm going to defend my center. Just wait to see what black is going to do. Because where's black going to put his king? Is he going to castle? b5, h4. If you castle, it's like you're walking right into attack. So queen c7, giving black an option. Maybe you'll castle this way. So just playing a guessing game at the moment. Knight e2. This is a typical move in the classical Sicilian when the knights have come off. Normally white has a knight in the middle, but because those knights have been traded, you can actually move your knight back to come in the middle. Knight to d4 or even to f4. MVL kicks the bishop back. Knight f4 or d4 is still possible. d5, and this is the first brilliant move of the game. Tension is created in the center, so it looks like white might have to resolve that tension with take and then take. But then this knight is just so well placed in the middle. The bishop can come here, the castle, the rook can come to the d file. This is not what Giri wants. That's why in this position e5 was played. This is a brilliant move, and it just changes the structure in white's favor. You cannot take because bishop f4, the queen cannot retreat in that direction. If the queen goes here, knight d4, and you're just going to pick up the bishop. If you go queen here, then you can attack the queen, and then you just attack the queen. It really is running out of squares, so you have to block, but then you're just a bishop down. So after e5, knight d7, f4. Total change in the structure. Black's got pawns on light squares. White has pawns on dark squares. I would prefer white here because white's pawns are further advanced. Knight c5, knight d4, knight e4, queen back to e1. Bishop back, keeping the bishop, g4. Now, black really isn't going to castle, or else you're just going to get mated. So that's why MVL goes to the queen side, bishop d3, g5. Huge move, creating so much tension among the kingside pawns. After g5, f5 is played, and maybe black missed this move because it looks like if you play this, this pawn is going to drop. In the game, g takes h4 was played, allowing f6. Now, if you play queen takes e5, you can take, and then queen a5 is going to be so dangerous. Planning to take, attacking the king. Now the rook. The rook can go to d3 and swing over. Attacking the king is going to be mate very soon. So it's just so dangerous. So after f5, take f6. Now the pawns are even further advanced. Bishop c5, rook takes h4, get your pawn back. Now MVL grabs the center pawn, but Giri is just transforming this position. This is probably Giri's best game in the tournament so far. But then he did have an amazing game in day one where he beat Nepomniachtchi. So I'm going to include a link to that video in the top right corner. If you want to see the recap for day one. Queen takes has just been played. Queen c3, pinning the bishop to the king. After king b7, knight takes e6. Brilliant move by Giri. Take, queen takes c5, coming in. d4. MVL has to block that bishop. Take, queen still coming in, check. Rook h5, amazing move, a rook swing. Notice the rook was here, it took the pawn. Now it's gone to h5, planning to win the queen. Rook d5 offering a trade. Take, bishop b6. Look at the queen and bishop working so well, controlling so many dark squares, and this rook is just cutting off the king if the bishop was ever to move. Black is in so much trouble. Rook e8, queen takes a6, check. Here is a really cool moment. I was thinking, instead of this, why not queen b7? Why on earth did MVL just chuck the pawn? Pause the video now or let the timer run. Can you find an amazing move for white? Because it looks like black is just holding on if you trade. But you're not going to trade. What is a brilliant move for white? 5 seconds. Rook takes d5. It's all about deflection. Because after queen takes, queen c7 will be mate. Queen takes a6, check, king d7, king goes for a walk, king goes back, and now a4. This move, maybe it wasn't needed, but it's just such a cool move because you just give yourself a bit of space on the back. a4, man, I don't know if I would have ever played that move. And let's just see what happens after a4. You take and then throw in a check. Queen a5, because you don't you don't want to trade queens. Keep the pressure. Queen and bishop still facing the king. Maybe the rook can find a way in. So I think this is Giri's idea. Bishop c4, bishop b6, check from the queen. King moves to b7, check. Bishop c7, really funky move because the idea is queen b8 mate. And if you play this, there's some amazing geometry by Giri where you check, and then you take the rook. Firstly, this check. This rook covers the d-file, so you got to block and then you come back with check. King can't go there due to the rook, so you block and then you take the rook. And then that's it. You even win the queen with rook d7. So an amazing idea. Queen b7, trying to trade queens, and Giri once again says no. This game is so impressive because he just keeps keeping up the pressure. Queen takes b4, attacking bishop and rook, double attack. Queen b5, queen a5, defending. Same thing, you can't do this because take. Bishop e2, rook d4. So maybe this was the idea. The very, very deep idea from Giri. Recall black actually took, and then the rook can come to d4, finding a way to swing over to the left. Check, king a2, the king is very safe there, queen there, and now bishop back to g3. And so many options with this move. All these squares belong to white, all these dark squares. So many ways to come in the position. White is totally winning. Let's see how he finished it off. Bishop c4 check, you just block with a pawn, and then king b2, avoiding anything. King now defends the pawn. In this position, black resigned. If we play on a bit, bishop b7, rook d6, just coming in with all the pieces. If you move the queen, then queen f5 check, game over. If you block with a rook, if you move the king, then you can play rook d8 check, or I think rook d3 is a really cool move. You just defend the bishop, and you're just going to win a queen. Queen f5 check, block with a rook, take. That's it, check, game over. And you can take, you can push, you can go queen check, and then push, game over. Really, really cool win from Anish Giri.